Hello everyone, welcome to another video, Vinyl Addict, and today I'm going to be ranking my top 10 favorite AC/DC album covers. And kicking it off at number 10, Powerage. Now this one came out in 1978 and it has the AC/DC Shatter font. They had the iconic font used once on the album before, and I guess they're still playing around with it, but that's my number 10. Next, High Voltage. Now this is, I like this font here, how they used it, and it's a cool little picture of Angus Young. And in the back, it's really cool. It has like report cards, or kind of like delinquency, kind of authority, schoolyard, mischief that the Young brothers have been caught doing, and it's really cool. It's kind of funny. It's the secondary school. What to say here? Writing to you again to complain about your son, kind of thing. So I like this one. Now number 8 is Ball Breaker. So this one was released around 95. This was when Phil Rudd, the drummer, returned. This is produced by Rick Rubin. Now this album cover was done by Marvel Comics, and this is a reissue, but the back had like a comic book panel style of all their songs. See, so they kind of have a couple of them here, like Hail Caesar, Boogeyman. So those are all song titles, and they all had its own little comic book image for it, which was really cool. Now 7 is the iconic Highway to Hell album cover. Like I said, I'm not really too fond about like group shot album covers, but this one was really cool. It has Angus in the middle, because he is the leader of the band with his little horns and is holding his tail. Now, the Australian cover, which was really cool, had the same photo, but it had flames all around them, and for some reason they didn't want that one issued here in America, and they had like this fretboard, this guitar fretboard, like representing a highway, and all of them were in flames. Wow. But they have released a poster of that here in the States, and it's really cool. But so that is my number 7's Highway to Hell. Now number 6, Back in Black. Now this is the first one with the singer Brian Johnson, and what it symbolized was mourning for Bon Scott and the loss of Bon Scott. So this was a tribute album to him, and it's just all black. I mean, this whole black thing has been done by many artists. From Spinal Tap, I think that they made fun of that with the Smell the Glove album. But this is AC/DC's Back in Black, and I've got their matching t-shirt. So. And which brings us to number 5, which is this cover right here, Flick of the Switch. Now this was an etching, like a sketch of Angus, and Angus originally did a sketching of this, and what it meant was that he and the band were tired of the production, the polished production that Mutt Lange has done on their last 3 records, and just wanted to return to a more raw sound, a raw and dry sound. So It is produced by them, and I guess it's not one of their popular albums. Not many, it wasn't received as a very popular album. But if you like the raw intensity of rock and roll, which is kind of harkens back to like Let There Be Rock, but with Brian Johnson. That's how I look at it. So I like the cover though. He's got the little, he's gonna flick the switch. There you go. Now, next one is number 4, If You Want Blood. And in the back says, You Got It, So, this was a live album from the Power Rage tour, and it, shows Angus Young being impaled by his Gibson. And this was actually shot after a gig, in 1978. The Paradise Theater, which holds 500 people in Boston, and it was part of the itinerary. Just we're gonna do the shooting of this album cover, and they said bring a lot of change of clothing. So now you know why, but I thought it was a really cool thing here. And this album is sort of the 70s were all about live albums and everything, and extending their songs, like the 2 double albums like Ted Nugent, Frampton, Kiss. AC/DC just kind of kept it at a quick, 10 tracks, 1 vinyl, 1 record, and just kind of just gave the listener just like what it really felt like to be an AC/DC song. It's just one song cranked after another, just intensity. And so this is a really great album, with the music on it, but also the album cover. I love it. Which brings us to 3, which is Fly on the Wall. Now this is a Brian Johnson era, and I just, I like the iconic logo they're using, and it was just a different kind of album cover from what you're used to seeing. You were always used to seeing either Angus Young on the cover, and this was a little different. And the back has the band members pinned to the wall. That's really cool. Now, number 2 is Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap. Now, this album was released in 1976 in Australia. They released it here in America in 5 years later, a year after Bond was dead, and a year after Back in Black sold 6 million copies, and so they record exec wanted to cash in and release this album. And so that's why, if you're at that time, this was an import, and it came out, and the font is not as you're used to as seeing the iconic one. And I like this album cover because it's just it seemed like a very early 80s kind of new wave album cover. Now this motel here is actually in California, called I believe it's called the Angel Motel or something, in Pico Rivera, California, something like that. And it's actually, if you look it up, the Angel Motel, it has a lot of bad reviews. It's a very shady and seedy area. And so I like the fact that, all these characters here, they all come from all kinds of walks of life. And they're pretty much, all hiding something, because except the dog, you look in the back, you see all the, where the eyes are supposed to be, but the dog's not there. So it's kind of like a real kind of what are they thinking about kind of thing. But this is the album. Now, the title of this came from Angus. He used to watch a cartoon called Beamy and Cecil, which was on ABC, and there was a guy in a character named Dishonest John, and he had business cards that said "Dirty deeds done dirt cheap." You know, we do weddings. You know, holidays, whatever. You know, so that's where he got that from. So that was really cool. And brings us to number 1, and this is my favorite album cover of all time of AC/DC. This is Let There Be Rock. Now, this was the album when they used that for the first time, that logo. And like I said earlier, they went with the Shattered font for Power Age, and then they went back to this one because this one is probably the best looking one out of all of them. You know, and this actually was shot by a rock journalist, a photojournalist who's done like Zeppelin and all these other big names, Keith Morris. And this little part here of Angus was later on cropped and used for the concert film Let There Be Rock, which was put out in, I think, 1980 or something like that. And I think it was the Highway to Hell tour because they were singing some Highway to Hell material on there. And what do you call it? It was that little piece here would be later on used as the poster promo for the film. So that is my favorite AC/DC album cover, ranked 10-1. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Take care.